Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while, but I am super excited to show this deck. This just came in the mail today. It's the Tarot of the Abyss by Tourian, and I am a huge fan of Anna's art, and I just think she's such a sweet person, so talented. And this has just arrived. I pre-ordered this back in like December. It's been a really long time. They opened up pre-orders quite a while ago. So I don't have a ton of time today, but I just want to do at least a little quick unboxing and show everybody how fantastic this is. So it's got a nice hard two-part box, which is quite lovely and sturdy. And it comes with a pretty decent, I have not even had time to look through the booklet. This is sort of a first look for me as well. But I will say, just glancing through it, it looks like there's a, pretty decent bit of information on each of the cards. In the back, there's a little bit of info on how to do a reading. And it looks like, looks like there's at least a couple of spreads in here. 6-card spread, an Abyss spread, which looks like 13 cards maybe. Little about page, a little bit of backstory. I'll talk about the court cards. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of info at the front too, but I just feel like maybe the book thing's gotten a little out of control. I just don't think every single deck needs a big, huge book like a lot of them come with. But this is just a nicer, more enhanced sort of little white book. And I like these types of books because they fit right into the box and you don't have to, have a separate place to keep your book. This is maybe a kind of I would call it, I guess, kind of a standard. It's not a high gloss stock, but it's not matte. It has these beautiful, really beautiful, pretty backs with quite a lovely design. And this is a black and white art deck. So I am gonna do a quick little flip through here. I'm kind of centered maybe-ish. And sort of take a look at the cards. I hope I'm not getting too much glare off of, I hope I'm not getting too much glare. It's very sunny and I have the lights on too. I'm just a huge fan of Anna's art style, and the decks I've seen from her before were mainly colored decks. And this is such a beautiful contrast with the black and white. This card is it's just, the Hermit's one of my favorite cards in a deck, and that's a fantastic Hermit. This Wheel of Fortune, usually I like the Wheel of Fortune well enough, it's fine, but I wouldn't say it's like my card. But this Wheel of Fortune, that's a really, really stunning card. Nice, very interesting death card too. Kind of like with the whole theme of like, regrowth, endings and regrowth. This sort of almost reminds me a little bit of Baba Yaga's house. I know it's not the same exact thing, but when I saw the little house on the book, I was like, I had to take kind of a second look at it. I was like, oh, is that Baba Yaga's house? I don't think it's meant to be, but it's reminded me a little of Baba Yaga's hut. Another beautiful star card. Anna is such a talented artist. I think her work is just very evocative. You don't need the color to give it any type of mood and feeling. You get that even from just the black and white drawings. This is a very interesting Two of Swords. I've never quite seen it portrayed in this way. So I really enjoy that. Now there's two, I did take a quick look through this when it arrived just to make sure all the cards were present. There's 2 3 of Swords cards, and there's a couple other places as we go through that you'll see. I think there's 2 10 of Swords cards, so there's a few where you'll get an option as to what card you want to be using. Like when I looked at the 10 of Swords earlier, you'll see here in a second, one was a little more severe and one is a little more, maybe a little not quite as dire looking, but I think it's still quite nice. And there might even be one more set of choices, so we'll check that as we go through. Into the wands. The wands are, I feel like, are often just kind of the forgotten suit in most decks. A lot of times the artwork is not, it just seems undeveloped to me. But, so far, just having briefly looked through this, I actually felt like the wands were very well done in this deck. They don't feel like an afterthought, because to me, in a pretty decent number of decks, they sort of do feel like an afterthought. That's a really pretty 2 of Cups as well. The 3 of Cups is interesting because usually it's always a picture of 3 people, but here you have the third person is out of off screen, as it were, which I thought was actually kind of interesting. I think that Anna has done a really fantastic job, excuse me, depicting, this what I would call, the fairly standard meaning of these cards in the Rider-Waite tradition. I mean, you can really look at most of these cards, and I don't even know that you're really going to need to look at a book. It's very clear, what you're looking at in most of them. So I think, I'll have to work with it a little bit. I haven't done no readings, nothing with this. It only came in about an hour ago. But this could end up being a really good deck for beginners. It really seems like it gives you a great depiction to work with so that you're getting the essence of what each card means really quickly at a glance. I really enjoy this 7 of Pentacles. Like so many people in the apocalypse, I took up sourdough baking. So you have this this woman baking her, looks like loaves of bread in her oven there. So I kind of enjoyed that one. This is a really fascinating 10 of Pentacles. I need to really sit and take a close look at it when I have a few more minutes, but I really think that gives a lot to think about. And there's the King. So let's do, this seems like it seemed, when I was just kind of giving it a quick little test, it seemed like it was fairly flexible. It's not too terrible. It's a little thicker than I tend to prefer. I'm not a thick cardstock kind of girl. But it's not so terrible that I can't get my hands around it to shuffle. I do have a problem with a lot of cards, a lot of decks. They kind of dig into my hands because my hands are a little small. So I know it sounds dramatic, but it's actually sometimes kind of painful for me to shuffle. It sort of digs into my skin. But I mean, obviously I'm not going to trim these. They're already borderless. You know, and they shuffle well enough, and I'm hoping that, you know, with use they'll soften up a little bit for me and maybe be a little bit easier for me to shuffle and to use. In any event, I mean, even if I have to shuffle them a different way, it'll be worth it, because this is, ooh, that was a nice bridge. They're not sticky, because sometimes the rose petal finish and some of the other finishes make cards real sticky. So this seems like it's fine in an overhand if that's your preferred, you know, method of shuffling. Obviously, it's not mine. I'm not very good at it, but yeah, I think this is. I really think. I think this is a winner. I know, or I believe Anna also has another deck that she's creating, and I could have sworn she had another tarot deck, an in color tarot deck that she was working on. I'll have to go back to her site and check. But I'm thrilled with this. I guess I forgot to zoom back out. Sorry about that, guys. I hope that was in frame enough for you guys to see what was going on. Yeah, it's truly a beautiful piece of work. I mean, just off of first glances, I mean, I recommend picking this up if you're a fan of black and white decks, and if you're a fan of this style of art. I think it's just the beautiful shading, like the kind of like line work. I think it's really beautiful. I'm so happy I ordered this, like pre-ordered it. I got it directly from US Games. And so the advantage of that is that often you'll get your decks a little bit sooner than if you pre-order from like Amazon or other places. I mean, they're the publisher, so they can get stuff out to people faster. So US Games is shipping this now. If you pre-ordered, you should have it in your hot little hands very soon. And I'm sure it'll be available at, you know, other sources, you know, relatively quickly. But absolutely, this one is it's just worth the price of admission for the artwork itself. And I'm gonna really enjoy using this. It'll be on my Instagram. I'm gonna be doing some readings with this, like daily readings and stuff. So you can check them out on my Instagram. I'll link the deck in the description. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.